I remember I watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I don't know if you ever watched that movie.
Classic, yeah.
Classic. And the mom on the girl's wedding day was like, was it Tula? Tula's the bride. She was like, the man is the head of the house, but the woman is the neck, and she can turn the head any way that she wants. Like, I thought that was hysterical and quite
Yeah.
empowering. But you realize in what she said that you have to have the head and the neck.
Mm.
It's not that one is better than the other. It's that the head needs the neck and the neck needs the head for support.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like people totally overshot that. We're like, oh yeah, the neck is better than the head because it can turn the head any way it wants. But then it's like, well, the head is what balances the rest of the body. You need the head to function. You don't live
Right, right,
without
right.
the head, right? So I think you can see the role of men and women in that regard, where it's like God created Adam, or when he created Eve, he was like, nah, she needs, or no, he created Adam first. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm rewriting the whole
I
history
know.
of the church.
No, sorry,
He
sorry,
created
sorry.
Eve first. What, in a whole different direction?
I'm nervous. I'm so sorry. No, he created Adam first, and he was like, no, you can't exist without her.
Uh-huh.
And you guys are both going to complement each other.
Yeah.
But if you talk to a feminist now, like a modern feminist, which I hate to admit, I used to be that raging modern feminist, and I'm horrified by the way that I used to speak. I'll be the first to admit it. But a modern feminist would say, like, she would negate anything that a man does and just focuses on herself.
Yeah.
And she focuses on herself in a way it's like, all right, he's gonna make this kind of money, bet I'm gonna top it. Or like, oh, he's getting this kind of respect in the community, bet I'm gonna top it.
Yeah.
Oh, he can do whatever it is. Like the list will go on and on and on. Oh, he can deadlift 500 pounds, bet I'm gonna try to. Physiology is a beautiful thing, and it forces men and women to act differently based on our own physiology, which again, people don't understand. So I think when we're talking about the church, St. Mary is the most underrated saint in our church, 110%.
Mm-hmm.
She's underrated in a way because she is the actual mirror of femininity that we need to obtain. She is the feminist. She is the woman. She is everything that we need to be in every way, shape, and form.
Wow.
She accepted God. She submitted to him. She never questioned who he is, what he did for her. She never questioned her ability to do anything. But for some reason, a woman in the church nowadays is like, I cannot submit to my husband. Bet he's not going to do that. I will never bow down and kiss his feet. Like, we're not telling you to go kiss his feet and wash his feet. We're telling you to respect him because he was anointed to do certain things by the Holy Spirit that you will never be able to do as a woman. And that's okay. Because on the other end of it, he will never have the maternal instinct that you will have. He will never have your nurturing ability like you have. And all of that stemmed from St. Mary.
Yeah.
And what is wrong with that? You know what I mean? It's so sad that nowadays being a woman of the church suddenly has the stigma of like, you're only a homemaker. You can't bring in any sort of income or anything like that. It downgrades the man's role. And suddenly they've coined a beautiful term called toxic masculinity, where it's like, there's nothing wrong with masculinity and it's not toxic. You just want to say it's toxic. And there could be men out there, and there are men like this that just, are insecure and want to like overbear their manliness, whatever, that definitely exists.
Yeah.
But we're not focused on those men.
Mm-hmm.
But masculinity in itself is not toxic. It's something to actually celebrate and to allow men to be masculine. We use toxic masculinity as a way to just put down a man and his ability naturally and have him be more little.
Yeah.
And that's unfair.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it would be nice to see us, the sexes raising each other up, as opposed to kind of, we don't have to belittle the other sex and what it has to offer, because it is a compliment. And when a woman tries to belittle a man to project herself, or vice versa, then we're not working in harmony like the way God intended it to. That was really nice. I never heard that about Saint Mary, like
He's so
as the
underrated.
focus of femininity, like I've never thought
Wow.
about that. I'm curious, how did you like overcome your like raging feminist phase? Like how did you pass through that?
I got close to the church, and
Mm,
I found a spiritual father that honestly I didn't think I would ever get close to him. He sought me out, and he was just like, "No, there's something about her. I want to get to know her, whatever." And I've always been someone like that believed in God, believed in the church, but I just never knew my place in the church, and I never knew what my purpose was. Um,
mm-hmm,
but I wouldn't say I overcame anything because I think I'm still struggling with what I thought was truth. And now I have to debunk all of those things, especially, now that we're trying to plan for a family and like, kids are going to be part of the mix and things like that. But I guess you could say I have changed in a way where I realize now how harmful modern feminism is in in the wake of the devil. It is 100% demonic and satanic in every way, shape, and form. There, it's removing women from God. It's removing women from the Holy Spirit. It's forcing women to see individualism, to see self-love in a different way, to accept that, oh, God made me this way, so God gave me certain strengths that I can build. And it's like it's no longer being authentically a woman.
mm-hmm,
And I remember I actually had a family member say this, and they were just like, God, I would hate to be a woman because I'd hate to menstruate. Like literally, someone in my family said that.
mm,
And I was just like, I don't see what's wrong with that.
right, yeah,
Like you're putting down a woman for something that is natural.
mm-hmm,
But at the same time, like it really got me thinking that, like, let me use my spiritual father as an example. I went to him for everything. I was like, listen, I'm a feminist, I'm pro-choice, I'm all this kind of stuff. Like, prove me wrong. And I'm
mm,
always someone that's open. I'm open to someone telling me if I'm genuinely wrong because my objective is always going to be to enter the kingdom.
yeah,
So I will want to know what it is that I'm doing wrong. And that's just me, right? I don't know about anybody else. So the conversations have always just stemmed from what is truth and what is the devil. And if the devil's trying to steer me away from the truth, I have to just let go and trust that God is the way and the life. And that's a hard, hard thing to do. Like there are some people that I was like really close to when I was a raging modern secular feminist, and I don't talk to them like at
mm,
all. So I did lose friends along the way, and it sucked and it hurt and it made me feel like, oh wow, I have nobody. But I've also gained a lot more because now I'm a servant, and I'm I'm helping younger women that I see myself in completely, and like helping them understand that, like, I mean, what you're thinking is wrong. And like I'm not saying
mm-hmm,
you're not going to go to the kingdom, but at the same
yeah,
time, like let's try to work through this and understand where this is coming from,
yeah.
right? So
It's also understanding that there's spectrums to femininity and masculinity, right? It's not, there's no one mold for it, just as we talked about like self-love. Like you don't have to feel like I'm not feminine because you don't like wearing skirts and like
sure.
whatever, right? Like that's
Yeah.
not what femininity is. Could be a part of it, but it's understanding like there's gradations to all of this stuff.